All right, folks, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're going deep on this digital euro thing, and let me tell you, it's got alarm bells going off louder than a 56K modem trying to connect to the internet back in the good old days. We've got research papers, articles, even some of those, those late-night forum threads where the real truth gets spilled, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I know those.
We're here to break it all down for you, give you the download without all the fancy jargon and the globalist doublespeak.
They think we're all sheep, ready for our microchips and social credit scores.
Exactly. Not falling for it, though. So let's start with the basics. What is this digital euro anyway? And why are people like, Christine Lagarde, the head honcho over at the European Central Bank, so gung-ho about it?
Well, the digital euro, it's basically like digital cash, right? But instead of your local bank issuing it, it comes straight from the ECB. Lagarde's been pushing this idea hard, saying it's all about keeping up with the times, with less people using cash these days and all that.
Yeah, keeping up with the times. That's their favorite line, isn't it? Like we're all supposed to just blindly embrace every new tech gadget they throw at us.
Right. And it's interesting, Lagarde's been pretty open about why she wants this digital euro. She says it's about making Europe stronger, more independent, less reliance on those foreign payment systems.
Autonomy, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like centralizing power, if you ask me.
Well, that's one way to look at it. And this idea of not depending on foreign systems, that really plays into people's worries about globalism and losing national sovereignty.
And this whole thing ties into the decline of cash, too. Remember when you could just walk into a store, buy a loaf?
Well, they're trying to be slick about it. They're calling it the investigation phase right now, but they're already moving into the preparation phase next year. They claim they won't make a final decision until the EU finishes all the legal stuff. But we know how these bureaucracies work. Once they get going, it's like a runaway train.
Yeah, sounds about right. So before we get into all the reasons why this digital euro scheme is about as appealing as a cold bowl of Brussels sprouts, why don't we dive into that next?
So we laid out the basics of this digital euro. Now let's get into why this whole thing really stinks. Like a week-old Limburger cheese. One of the biggest red flags for me is this potential for government surveillance.
You mean like the government snooping into our digital wallets, seeing how much we spend on, ammo and beef jerky?
Exactly. With a digital currency like this, every transaction leaves a trail, a permanent record. And who knows who could access that? The government or, well, who knows who else? Imagine Big Brother knowing exactly how much you tipped that pizza delivery guy or how much you donated to your favorite conservative YouTube channel.
That's like straight out of George Orwell novel.
Yeah.
They'll be watching our every move, judging every purchase.
And don't even get me started on the potential for financial manipulation. If the government controls the currency, they can control you, plain and simple. They could freeze your accounts, limit what you can spend, even devalue your savings with just a click of a button.
Hold on. So they're saying this digital euro will make things easier and more convenient, but it sounds like it could actually give them more power. More power to control our lives.
That's the sneaky part, right? They dangle this carrot of convenience while quietly tightening the reins of control behind the scenes. And what's really concerning to me is how this all ties into the bigger picture, this whole idea of technocracy, where unelected bureaucrats, so-called experts, are the ones calling the shots.
It's funny how they call us conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
For pointing out these obvious power grabs, they dismiss our concerns as misinformation, while they're busy building the very systems that could take away our freedoms.
Classic gaslighting, isn't it? They try to tell us we're imagining things, that we're being paranoid, but the evidence is staring us right in the face.
What happens to banks if everyone starts using this digital euro? I mean, do they just fade away like a Blockbuster video store?
That's a great question, and it's one that's got a lot of people worried. Some experts think the digital euro could really hurt commercial banks, leading to less competition and, you know what, potentially even higher costs for consumers down the line.
Wait, hold on. So they're saying this will make things cheaper and more efficient, but it could actually end up costing us more.
That's the beauty of their doublespeak. They make all these fancy promises. But when you look closer, you find a bunch of potential downsides that they just conveniently brush under the rug.
And what about innovation? Won't this whole digital euro thing stifle the development of other payment systems?
Yeah.
Especially the ones that prioritize privacy and decentralization.
Absolutely. If you've got a convenient government-backed digital currency, why even bother with decentralized alternatives like cryptocurrencies, which, by the way, are a major pain in the neck for central banks and governments everywhere?
It's like they're trying to squash the competition before it even gets off the ground.
And then there's the potential for this technology to be used for social engineering, right? Imagine a government that can just incentivize certain behaviors or even punish dissent simply by changing the rules of the digital euro.
Hold on. You're saying they could use this digital euro to manipulate how we act?
Think about it. They could give discounts or rewards to people who buy approved products or services
Right.
while making it more expensive or even harder to buy things they don't like.
So if you don't follow the party line, they can make it harder for you to just buy groceries or gas. That's pretty scary.
And don't forget about the potential link to a social credit system.
Right.
They could use your digital transaction history to give you a score based on your spending habits, your political views, even what you do on social media.
It's like we're living in an episode of Black Mirror, isn't it?
The line between science fiction and reality is getting thinner and thinner every day. That's why we need to be paying attention. We need to expose these schemes and fight back against this creeping digital control.
So what can we do about it? Are we just supposed to sit back and let them turn us into digital serfs?
Absolutely not. The first step is awareness, educating ourselves and others about the potential risks of this digital euro. We need to have those uncomfortable conversations, share those forbidden articles, and challenge the mainstream narrative.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah,
The more people understand what's at stake, the better prepared we'll be to resist this digital takeover.
exactly. We also need to support those organizations and individuals who are fighting to protect our privacy and financial freedom.
You know, there are people out there working hard to develop alternative solutions, create systems that empower individuals, not control them.
And let's not forget about the power of individual action. We can choose to opt out of systems that compromise our privacy. We can choose to support businesses that share our values.
We can choose to use cash whenever we can. We can choose to educate ourselves about cryptocurrencies and other decentralized technologies.
We can choose to take control of our own digital destinies.
It's not too late to push back against this digital dystopia they're trying to build. But we got to act now, before it's too late. You know, this whole digital euro thing, it really makes you think about what kind of future they're trying to build. Like they're taking all the good stuff, you know, freedom, privacy, being your own person, and just tossing it all into some digital shredder.
It all comes down to control, doesn't it? They want a world where they can track our every move, manipulate us, silence anyone who disagrees.
It's like they have this playbook for a digital dystopia, and they're checking off all the boxes, one by one. Cashless society, check. Social credit system, check. Centralized digital currency, check.
And they try to sell it to us with these fancy marketing campaigns, promising convenience and efficiency and security, but they leave out the part where it costs us our freedom.
It's like they're dangling a shiny new smartphone in front of us,
Yeah.
while they're picking our pockets, taking away our liberties.
And what's really scary is how many people are buying into it. They're so busy with their digital lives, hooked on their devices, they don't even realize what they're giving up.
It's like they're sleepwalking right into a digital prison.
But it's not too late to wake up. We can resist this. We can choose to build something different. A future where technology actually helps people, not the other way around.
A future where we value our privacy, our freedom, and taking responsibility for ourselves. A future where we don't have to worry about Big Brother watching our every move.
That's the future we need to fight for. And it starts with awareness, with educating ourselves and taking action.
We need to have these conversations, even if they're uncomfortable. We need to share information, expose what's really going on.
We need to support those people and organizations that are out there working to protect our freedoms.
We need to make our voices heard. We got to let the people in power know that we're not going to be their pawns.
We need to take back control of our digital lives.
So, what's the main takeaway for our listeners today? What can they actually do to push back against this digital darkness that seems to be closing in on us?
Well, first of all, don't be afraid to question what you're told. Don't just believe everything the media and the so-called experts say. Do your own research, look at things from different angles, and think for yourself.
And don't be afraid to speak your mind. Share your concerns with others. Challenge the people pushing this agenda. Let them know you're not going to be just another silent player in their game.
Choose to opt out of systems that threaten your privacy. Support businesses that align with your values. And most importantly, never stop fighting for your freedom.
That's right. The fight for freedom, it never really ends. It's a constant battle. You always got to be on guard against those who want to control us. But it's a battle worth fighting because freedom is the most valuable thing we have.
And it's a fight we can win if we stand together, united in our defense of liberty.
Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from the sneaky nature of this digital euro to the bigger threat of this whole technocracy thing. We've looked into some pretty dark corners of the digital world, but remember, there's always hope. We have the power to choose a different path, a path that leads to a brighter future, a future where freedom wins.
So stay informed, stay vigilant, and never give up that fight.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those critical thinking caps on and keep those freedom flags flying high.